How's it going, everyone? This is Yxlarb, and welcome to a channel update. Here we are on December 17th, and as of today, our Resident Evil 4 TMP only no merchant walkthrough has come to an end. The finale has released today, on the day of recording this, and I can't think of a better time for an update, so why don't we get into it? I'm going to start off with some life updates, for me, pretty much, and then get into the channel itself. And of course, my life affects the channel, and so does Bosniancheese's, so it's all relevant. First and foremost, I have realized recently that although I've mentioned this in videos as of late, even ones that haven't gone up yet, I haven't actually made an official announcement here on the channel. I passed the bar exam, and not only did I pass it, in the words of one of my friends, I crushed it. I passed by a significant margin, and I couldn't have been happier. Honestly, I'm just happy I never have to think about the bar exam ever again. I took it in Washington. I am currently transferring the score to Idaho, so I am solid. I don't intend on moving to other states, and if and when I do, that'll be future Yxlarb's problem to take another bar exam. But that is just a great piece of news. I've been meaning to tell you guys, and the great news is I don't have to stop and study for another bar exam, so we won't have another huge hiatus. That's probably the best news that I could give you guys. The next major life update has to do with where I'm living. So right now, I'm actually living in Idaho. Without being specific about the city's name, I'm about a 7-hour drive away from Bosniancheese. So it's a pretty significant distance for right now. So for those who remember and can do some math, we're an hour and a half north of our old college town, which neither of us live in at this time. And this is actually the first video I just realized that I am recording in this place, so that's very exciting. The bad news is, of course, we live off of a pretty busy main road, so you may hear some cars in the background. We live right at the corner, of an intersection, so oftentimes modified cars with loud exhaust will just blast through here, racing at the light or whatever. But anyway, what I mean is, as you guys know, my wife, who's in medical school, in her third year of medical school, nearing the end of her third year, has to move around a lot for her medical school rotations. And for those who may recall, we moved to Seattle at the end of October. In fact, we moved back here just at the end of November. So we spent a month in Seattle. The original plan, for those who may not remember, was to stay there for basically 4 or 5 months, all the way through March. But my wife's schedule finally got finalized. Well, as far as we know. Technically, it could still change. But basically, they've told her where she's going to be at all times for the rest of her education, for the rest of her year and a quarter time in medical school, which has been great from a planning perspective. At least now we know where we're going to be at what times. So here we're back in our Idaho apartment. That's what I'll refer to this place as. We're in our Idaho apartment for now, and we're going to be here until the end of January. At that point, unfortunately, we're going back to Seattle for another 2 months. The reason why that's unfortunate is because I can't do too much YouTube from Seattle. The apartment we're in there, it's really just a long-term Airbnb, so it's very small. We don't have enough space for very much. We don't even have a TV there. I don't have any video games there. Really, we just rely on our laptops for indoor entertainment. And you're thinking, well, why don't you get a TV? Why don't you get your video games up there? It's like, because there's literally no room. It's so tiny. It's probably around 400 to 450 square feet. It's pretty much the square footage of a studio, but just split up into a few different rooms. So you have a bedroom, you have a kitchen, and you have a living room. And my office happens to be, well, my desk is my office, happens to be in the living room. So really not a lot of space, but you know what? We can live. I'm just glad we ended up coming here to the Idaho apartment because this has given me an opportunity to work on YouTube, and we'll discuss that a little bit more later. But anyway, back to the schedule. So moving back to Seattle at the end of January, and we're going to be living there until the end of March, so for another 2 months. At that point, I know the schedule, but frankly, you guys don't need to know the entire schedule at this point. All you really need to know is it's basically going to be a medley of our Idaho apartment, Seattle, a little bit more, and actually the place where Bosniancheese lives down south for the next year and couple months, whatever it ends up being. So we're going to be moving around a good amount, but some of the good news here is that most of the time we're either going to be here in our Idaho apartment, which I prefer, or we're going to be living down there where Bosniancheese is living with my parents and be in very close proximity to my immediate family, living in the same house, of course. I don't know if I made that clear just now, but living in the same house, save money that we don't have to be paying for basically 3 apartments. That would just be insane. But we'll be in close proximity to Bosniancheese as well as my brothers, and hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more videos, be able to create a lot more content for YouTube, and that'd be just great. So there you go. Things are complicated, but you know what? We came here to our Idaho apartment just in the nick of time. Allowed us to make a bunch of videos. I met with Bosniancheese, over Thanksgiving. We were able to finish our next collaboration. It's just a good time. Anyway, I pretty much already said this at the beginning, but our current phase has come to an end with Resident Evil 4. Our Resident Evil 4 series between my brother Andy and I coming to an end. That is the end of the phase, and we're moving on to the next phase, which we'll discuss right now. As per usual, I'm not going to expel all the details for you guys. I'm just going to give you some hints. But basically, the next phase is scheduled to begin on January 4th, the first full week in January. The plan is to have our 2 series go basically 1 video up per week. It's a pretty typical schedule for us. Basically, every Monday, we'll have my new solo series going up, and every Thursday, we'll have our new collaboration going up. So those who have been following the channel for some time, that's a pretty familiar schedule for you. Pretty much, where are we at in terms of preparation for the next phase? For my solo series, just a few days ago, I finished doing the practice run for the series and basically finished all the planning. Now it's just a matter of starting the recording process. For our next collaboration, that one is actually fully recorded and totally complete. All we have left to do is just editing and uploading, and I've already started the editing process on that series. So yeah, we got way ahead for this one. But frankly, we needed to, because with Bosniancheese and I living so far away from one another, each time we get together, we have to record pretty much as we can to ensure we can even keep up. So it might sound like we're ahead, but so basically, until I'm living down there and we're in close proximity with one another, we're never going to get another opportunity to record consistently. I mean, basically, we just have to wait for any time I come down to visit my family, which could be once a month, it could be once every other month. Just doesn't provide us a lot of opportunities. So that's part of the reason why we can only have 2 videos going up per week, because otherwise we would just constantly run out of content to upload. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and get into the hints for these next series we're going to be doing. Like I said, there's 2 of them. 1 solo series by me and 1 collaboration with Bosniancheese. The first hint, it has to do with both of them. They're both sequels to series we've already played on this channel. So there you go. That's a huge clue. That narrows down the options significantly. For the next solo series, the one I'm going to be recording, it is long overdue. It is one that I've been planning on doing for some time, and frankly, these 2 clues put together might narrow down the option to just 1 or 2 series for you guys. So there you go. But the last hint regarding the solo series is that it will have a lot of bonus footage. I'm talking like the bonus footage might take 2 to 3 times as long, not just to create. I mean, to create, it'll take even longer than that, but there will be that much more footage for the bonus content than just the main walkthrough. And that's crazy, but if you know this game, that makes total sense to you. Anyway, guys, there you have it. I tried to make this one short. I think I may have succeeded for once, and I pretty much gave you all the information I needed to. I passed the bar exam. We're going to be moving a lot over the next year plus. Our current phase has come to an end, and our next phase is starting, and I couldn't be more excited. I'll see you guys January 4th.